Part 3 of a look at my Doctor Who DVDs. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to part 3 of a look at my Doctor Who DVDs. So basically, all the Doctor Who DVD releases, I've been saying up to the Matt Smith era. Actually, that's technically a lie. Up until the David Tennant specials, I have on DVD. Everything subsequently I have on Blu-ray, which I've already shown. I'm not going into too much details on these. I'm just whizzing through, showing you what I've got. I will mention anything appropriate as I come to it. If you want a bit more of my history of Doctor Who, just watch part 1. Okay, so first up we have Sunmakers, Tom Baker era. Another box set. This is A Key to Time. So in the Tom Baker era, there was it's a complete series. So it was 6 stories, but it was a complete series. Were all tied in with this quest for the Key to Time, and they released it as a box set, limited edition box set. They then did later re-release it in a non-limited format, but it was a limited of 15,000. I've got number 14,224, and it comes in a plastic slip cover. I mean, it represents the Key to Time, so it folds out like so, and then it's got the stories inside. And my edition is a little bit special because I bought from the Stamp Centre a version signed by Tom Baker. This is Peter Davison, 4 to Doomsday. Peter Davison, whoa, nearly had a disaster then. Peter Davison, The Visitation. So some of these I've already shown the special edition versions of. This sort of last batch, a bit more in order. Peter Davison, Black Orchid. Peter Davison, Earthshock. When I sort of first put them on my shelf, I did put them in some sort of order, but over the years, as I've had to move them for whatever or added stuff to them, they've gone out of order a bit. Okay, so this, in theory, isn't really a Doctor Who release, but it's Doctor Who related. This is In the Footsteps of the Two Doctors, fronted by Nicola Bryant and signed by her. I bought this from her website. So this is Nicola revisiting, does it say where it was? Seville in Spain, where they shot the Two Doctors episode. Nicola played Perry, companion to Peter Davison and mainly Colin Baker. It's also got new interviews with Colin Baker and Fraser Hines on here as well. I'm a big fan of Nicola. I was a member of a FON club, Friends of Nicola Club. So that's why I bought this, and to have it signed. Tom Baker, Face of Evil. Another one of the box sets. This is Dalek War. So this is 2 Pertwee era, Frontier in Space and Planet of the Daleks. So these are the movies. The Daleks 2-disc set, the Doctor Who movie collection. This one is Doctor Who and the Daleks. Disc 2 is Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. So because Terry Nation had the rights to the Daleks, he was able to sell them outside of BBC. So they made 2 films starring Peter Cushing as Doctor Who, and he's Dr. Dr. Who, which differentiates him from Doctor Who, DOCTOR Who. It's very dodgy. But they had enough rights so that they could use a TARDIS and all sorts. And these are basically, because they're based on Terry Nation scripts, which he had the rights to, they could use anything that was in most scripts. They're slightly rewritten and obviously done on a bigger scale. They're enjoyable fluff. They're not works of art. These have had a Blu-ray release. I've just never got round to getting them. But that's those. Peter Davison box set, Time Flight and Arc of Infinity. So these are 2 Tegan related stories. So this is the special edition release of the Five Doctors. So as I mentioned at the start of part 1, Five Doctors was the first Doctor Who DVD release. Had a few extras, but very bare bones. So they re-released it. No, this is... Hold on, let me... No, this is the original release, isn't it? Yes. Although it said... They're trying to confuse me by saying special edition on it. That's because it's a special edition of the actual show with extended scenes, previously unseen sequences, new visual effects and a stereo soundtrack. So this was the first Doctor Who DVD release. So as you can see, it looks slightly different from the later releases, and the extras on it are minimal. Nice booklet in it though, to be fair, and a little DVD questionnaire to win £200 worth of BBC products. So yeah, this came out in 1999. But yeah, so this was the first Doctor Who, first Doctor Who I owned, full stop. But Five Doctors was for the 20th anniversary in 1983. They did a special with the intention of featuring the Five Doctors to that point. Obviously William Hartnell was no longer around, so Richard Herndon played the first Doctor, and Tom Baker refused to be in it, so they just used excerpts from Shada, which was an episode that I talked about before, which wasn't completed because of strikes. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is the proper special edition, so they called it the 25th anniversary edition. So this contains the original TV version, which isn't on there, plus the special edition version. Loads of bonus features, including a commentary by Carol Ann Ford. No, hold on. What we got? Oh, it's not credited on there. Okay. Oh, that's it. It's a special hidden feature. Okay, so on the TV version, it's got commentary by Susan the Brig, Sarah Jane and Turlough. On the special edition, it's got a commentary by Peter Davison and Terence Dix, who wrote it. And then as a hidden feature, it's got a commentary by David Tennant, Russell T Davies, and I think Peter Collins, what's his name? The producer, Collinson. Is it Peter Collinson? Paul Collinson? I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, as a hidden track as well, which is a lot of fun. Loads of extras as well. Excellent release. We have Resurrection of the Daleks, Peter Davison era Dalek story. And this is the limited edition that comes in a rubber roundel slip, which has surprisingly survived pretty well. It's got a bit dusty, but otherwise has survived pretty well. But underneath you've got a normal sleeve. Don't know why they deemed that was worthy of a special slip. Caves of Androzani. This is one that got a later... See, the special features on this are just commentary, exclusive footage and behind the scenes documentaries, photo gallery, production notes, but they just added so much more to the special edition. Possibly the best story. Vengeance on Varos, another one we've seen a special edition for, Colin Baker. Another box set, this is New Beginnings. So this is for Keeper of Traken, Logopolis and Castrovalva. So it's the last two Tom Bakers and the first Peter Davison. And as I mentioned at the start of part 1, Logopolis has the elements that I remember. My earliest probably TV memory, let alone Doctor Who memory, was elements from that story. The Two Doctors. So this was Colin Baker era and Patrick Troughton joined him, and that's what that Nicola Bryant DVD was about. Another Colin Baker, Revelation of the Daleks. Remembrance of the Daleks, Sylvester McCoy, and this I've shown the special edition of. Sylvester McCoy at Battlefield. Ghostlight. So as you can see, these are, you know, grouped by Doctor to an extent. Curse of Fenric, great story. Survival, which was the last classic Doctor Who, if you don't count the movie. So this was the first release of it. I've shown a special edition of it. It has had a Blu-ray release, and I can't remember now whether I ever got round to getting that. No, don't think I did ever get round to getting the Blu-ray of it. I didn't really feel it was worth it, because it was just a straight port of the special edition onto Blu-ray, which I already had. Okay. So I mentioned in a previous part this collection. This is Lost in Time. So this was one of the earlier releases, and basically it contains 18 full episodes of incomplete stories where some episodes were lost. There's a little list there. And then it also contains lots of snippets of episodes and things like that as well. And as I said, some of these have subsequently, they've either found more and been able to put them out, or they've found enough extra to be able to animate the rest, or they've just animated the rest anyway and released them. So most of these stories have now had some sort of release as a complete set. This is Doctor Who The Beginnings. So this contains An Unearthly Child, The Daleks and The Edge of Destruction. So that's the first 3 ever episodes of Doctor Who. And it also contains the pilot of An Unearthly Child. In there as well. This is Beneath the Surface. So these are the Silurian, sorry for a wobble there, the Silurian stroke Sea Devil related episodes. So the Silurians are sort of lizard people who were the original inhabitants of Earth, who now live under the ground, and they are closely related to the Sea Devils, who were Silurians who sort of moved into the sea, so they're related. So this contains Doctor Who and the Silurians, the Sea Devils, and which are both Jon Pertwee, and then Peter Davison's Invasion of the Deep. See, these sets are a little bit annoying, because if I wanted to store them in order, where do I put them? Or do I just break up the box set? Okay, this is the 3 Doctors. So for the 10th anniversary, they brought together the 3 Doctors to that point. Jon Pertwee, who was incumbent, plus Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell. William Hartnell was very ill and only appears in little pre-filmed clips. A decent enough little story, but this came, apologies for the dust, in this little box set, which comes with a corgi model of Bessie. Ooh, I thought it was attached to that, but it wasn't. So you may have seen in my comedy videos, they did similar for Red Dwarf. Carnival of Monsters, Jon Pertwee one that's had a special edition. That's had the Green Death. This is the Time Warrior, another Jon Pertwee. Robot, which was Tom Baker's first episode, series. The Ark in Space, another Tom Baker. The Centauran Experiment. Okay, this one's going to run long, but I want to get this done in 3 parts. So, Genesis of the Daleks. Voted #1 Doctor Who story ever. Inferno, this has had a special edition. As has The Claws of Axos, they're both Pertwees. City of Death, Tom Baker Leisure Hive. The E-Space trilogy, so this was 3 Tom Baker, apologies for the dust again, this is 3 Tom Baker stories related for being set in E-Space, which is sort of an alternative dimension. Full Circle, State of Decay and Warrior's Gate. Sylvester McCoy, Taima Morani. Colin Baker, Attack of the Cybermen. Colin Baker, Time Lash. Tom Baker, The Creature from the Pit. Tom Baker, The Mask of Mandragora. Colin Baker, The Mark of Irani. Tom Baker, The Seeds of Doom. Tom Baker, Planet of Evil. Tom Baker, Destiny of the Daleks. Okay, might not be that long, but just a little bit longer. On to the last little pile. Tom Baker, Pyramids of Mars. Tom Baker, The Brain of Morbius. Tom Baker, The Hand of Fear, Sarah Jane Smith's final classic story. Tom Baker, The Deadly Assassin. Tom Baker, The Robots of Death. You can see the look of the earlier ones is ever so slightly different. Where are we? We tend to use stills rather than the montages. Talons of Weng Chiang. Tom Baker. They had a special edition. Horror of Fang Rock. Tom Baker. Tom Baker, Image of a Fendal. Tom Baker, The Invasion of Time. Patrick Troughton, The Mind Robber. The first release of Spearhead from Space, as I mentioned before, it's had a special edition, and then it's also had a Blu-ray release, which I do have and have shown. That was John Pertwee's first story. Patrick Troughton, The Seeds of Death. William Hartnell, The Aztecs, that had a special edition. William Hartnell, The Dalek Invasion of Earth. So that's what the second movie was based on. William Hartnell, The Web Planet. William Hartnell, The Time Meddler. And last but definitely not least, because it's a classic story, Patrick Troughton, The Tomb of the Cybermen, and that's at a special edition as well. Okay, so that is all the Doctor Who DVD releases up to David Tennant's specials. As I say, anything after that I have on Blu-ray. The new season releases of Classic Who, I missed out on the first limited edition, so I wasn't getting those, but now they're bringing out normal editions of them. I am getting those, and I have all the ones that have been released to date. So hopefully answer any questions. Apologies for any mistakes I made in all that. As I've explained at one point, I've only watched all of those once each, or if they're a special edition, twice, or if it's Spearhead from Space 3 times, but most of them I've only watched once each, so I'm not completely, I don't know them all backwards like some people do. I will quickly recommend a couple of books, because they're in with this, so I might as well. This is Doctor Who, The Television Companion. I'm sure this has been bought more up to date, but this is everything up to the TV movie, I think. Yes. And it's a little... tells you about each show. So it sort of does a synopsis of each series. And then for each show, tells you the people involved, when they were shown, both date and time. Plus anything worth noting, like Wheel in Space was transmitted episode 4 was transmitted 35 minutes late as the FA Cup final overran, and episode 6 was 6 minutes late because the England-West Germany football match overran. Then it tells you the plot, it tells you the cliffhangers for each episode, any cast credited over and above the normal cast for the series, popular myths, so any things that people commonly believe about that specific episode or series which are wrong, things to watch out for, so just great moments or flashbacks to, or callbacks rather, to previous stories. In this one, Patrick Troughton doesn't appear in episode 2 as he was on holiday during the week it was recorded. He's only seen as an unconscious figure, with Chris Jeffries doubling for Troughton. Things you probably never knew. So Eric Flynn, who plays Leo Ryan in this story, was the son of Errol Flynn. Oh, excuse me. Dust. Some notable quotes, and then an analysis, you know, how it ranks, what people have thought of it, and so on and so forth. So that's a nice companion. And then this is the classic Doctor Who DVD compendium. So this is a great release, handy if you want, you know, if you think, oh, I want to watch a certain thing, because a lot of them feature stuff from other TV shows, you know, so appearances on Saturday Superstore, for example, or Jim Will Fix It, which we don't really talk about. Those DVDs have been re-released without the Jim Will Fix It bits. Jim Will Fix It, for those of you who don't know, was a TV show presented by Jimmy Savile, who obviously, I'm sure you're probably aware why we don't talk about him anymore. And things like that. So it's got a tells you where you can find everything for each episode, for each release, you know, sort of list of special features, but there's also compendiums where you can go back and find them. It's just, you know, very comprehensive. Regular extras, key commentators, so if you want to see, you know, everything that Liz Sladen did a commentary for, you can, it's listed in here, and so on and so forth, where all the Easter eggs are hidden. Yeah, really useful if you have them all and want to know where to find stuff. Okay, that really is it. So that is it. The only parts of my DVD and Blu-ray collection I have not shown are stuff that I've taken off the DVD shelves because I've now got them on Blu-ray. Although, depending on when I bought them, if I bought them after I showed it on DVD, obviously I've shown those as well. But anything that I have on Blu-ray that I already had on DVD before I started showing my DVDs, I haven't shown, if that makes sense. And obviously anything I haven't watched yet, which is in my to watch pile or in my just watched pile, and those will be appearing on my regular DVD and Blu-ray updates. There will be no more collection videos. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to do a channel update type thing probably next week after this has been shown, just to explain where I'm going from here, basically, because that's taken nigh on 3 years to show all that stuff, I think. But for those of you who watched them all, bravo. I applaud you. Thank you. Thank you for your interest. I hope you found them interesting. I presume if you watched them all, you did. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks.